The call came while she was home alone after school. A man's voice, one she had never heard before, told her he worked at the magazine where her mother had just been promoted and that he wanted her help picking out a surprise gift to celebrate. 10-year-old Amy Mihaljevic said yes. She told her friends at school about the plan, but never revealed who the caller was. On the afternoon of October the 27th, 1989, she walked from her middle school to a nearby shopping center to meet him. Her mother got one more phone call from her that day, a short, ordinary check-in at 3:30 in the afternoon. When she came home at 5 o'clock expecting to find her daughter there, Amy was gone. She would not be seen alive again. This is her story, and as of this recording, it remains one of the most extensively investigated unsolved murders in the history of the state of Ohio. This is Unsolved and Unforgotten. Tonight's case has generated more than 20,000 interviews over 36 years, made national television twice, and, as recently as last month, produced both new forensic hope and a new forensic setback. Everything in this episode is drawn from police statements, FBI records, and verified reporting through January of 2026. No one has ever been charged in this case, and no name in this episode should be understood as an accusation. Amy Renee Mihaljevic was born on December the 11th, 1978, in Little Rock, Arkansas. By the fall of 1989, she was 10 years old, living with her family in Bay Village, Ohio, a quiet lakeside suburb of Cleveland, the kind of community where a child walking home from school was, in 1989, still an entirely unremarkable sight. Amy attended Bay Middle School. Her mother had recently been promoted at her job at a local magazine, a small, seemingly unremarkable piece of family news that would, within weeks, become the exact detail a stranger used to lure Amy away from everyone who knew her. In the days or weeks before October the 27th, 1989, Amy received a phone call at home from a man she did not know. According to the account Amy gave to her friends and family, the caller told her that he worked at the magazine where her mother had just been promoted, and that he wanted her help selecting a surprise gift for her mother. He arranged to meet Amy at the Bay Square Shopping Center, a small commercial plaza not far from her school, after classes let out. Amy told several of her classmates about the planned meeting in the days leading up to it, but, critically, she never told any of them who the caller actually was or how she knew him. That detail, more than any other, has shaped 36 years of investigation. Whoever placed that call knew enough about the Mihaljevic family's recent life to construct a convincing pretext, which has led investigators for decades to treat the possibility that Amy knew, or was at least familiar with, her abductor as a serious and persistent theory of the case. On the afternoon of Friday, October the 27th, 1989, Amy left Bay Middle School on foot and walked to the Bay Square Shopping Center to keep her arranged meeting. Classmates later told police they had seen her outside a barber shop at the plaza, appearing to wait for someone. Witnesses at the shopping center reported seeing Amy speaking with an unfamiliar man, described in official FBI materials as a white male in his 20s to 30s, wearing a navy blue sweater. According to the FBI's own account of the case, the man was seen placing his hand on Amy's shoulder as he walked her through the parking lot. No vehicle was seen by any witness. Amy was last seen walking through that lot with him. At approximately 3:30 that afternoon, Amy's mother received a brief phone call from her daughter, a short, ordinary check-in, the kind of call that gave no indication anything was wrong. Amy's mother assumed, reasonably, that her daughter was safely at home. When she herself returned home at 5 o'clock that evening, Amy was not there, and would never be there again. The Bay Village Police Department, working alongside the FBI's Cleveland field office, launched what would become one of the largest missing person and homicide investigations in Ohio history. Many of the FBI agents assigned to assist lived in the Bay Village community themselves, giving the case an unusually personal dimension for the investigators working it from its earliest hours. The case drew rapid national attention. Amy's story was featured on the television program America's Most Wanted, presented by host John Walsh himself, the father of murdered 6-year-old Adam Walsh, whose own 1981 case had helped launch the modern missing children's movement just 8 years earlier. Despite the scale of the response, no trace of Amy was found in the days and weeks immediately following her disappearance. The investigation that would eventually be described, decades later, as the most extensive in Ohio since the 1951 disappearance of Beverly Potts, had, in its opening weeks, produced nothing but a description of a man in a navy sweater and a shopping center parking lot with no vehicle anyone could identify. On February the 8th, 1990, roughly 3.5 months after Amy vanished, a jogger discovered her body in a farm field close to a rural road in Ruggles Township, Ashland County, Ohio, nearly 50 miles from Bay Village. The location of the discovery raised immediate and difficult questions. Ashland County was a substantial distance from the Cleveland suburb where Amy had last been seen, suggesting that whoever was responsible for her death had transported her body a considerable distance, likely by vehicle, into a rural area, far outside his or her own likely home territory, assuming, as many investigators have long suspected, that the person responsible lived somewhere in or near the community where Amy had been abducted. The medical examination determined that Amy had died as a result of stabbing. Her cause and approximate time of death were established as on or around October the 27th, 1989, meaning that, in all likelihood, whatever happened to Amy happened quickly, within hours or at most a few days of her abduction, though her body was not discovered for months afterward. For more than a quarter of a century after Amy's body was found, one piece of physical evidence, recovered near the scene, sat largely out of public view. An avocado green, quilted cotton, handmade curtain, along with a blanket, found roughly 300 yards from where Amy's body was discovered. In 2016, investigators publicly revealed the significance of this evidence for the first time. Scientific testing determined that the curtain contained hairs matching those of the Mihalovic family's own dog, physical evidence connecting the fabric directly to Amy's own household or her immediate surroundings, and strongly suggesting, according to retired FBI agent Phil Torsney and Bay Village Police Chief Mark Spatzel, that the curtain had been used to wrap or transport Amy's body from the location where she was actually killed to the rural field where she was ultimately left. Investigators have been direct about what this piece of evidence could mean for the case, if its origin can ever be traced. We know where Amy was abducted, and we know where she was found. Retired Agent Torsney has said this piece of evidence could tell us where she was killed and help identify who killed her. Investigators have publicly asked anyone who recognizes the specific curtain, homemade, avocado green, quilted cotton to come forward, in the hope that someone, somewhere, might remember sewing it, owning it, or seeing it in someone else's home decades ago. Over more than 3.5 decades, the Amy Mihalovic case has generated an extraordinary number of leads, more than 20,000 interviews, according to reporting on the investigation's scope. A retired FBI profiler involved in the case has said that at its narrowest point, investigators were able to narrow the field to roughly 24 names rather than a single suspect, and that most of those individuals remain alive today. Investigators have, over the years, examined and set aside numerous individuals in connection with the case, some flagged because of criminal records unrelated to Amy's murder, some flagged because of tips from people who knew them, and some flagged because of their proximity to the shopping center or their behavior in the days surrounding Amy's disappearance. None of these individuals has ever been criminally charged in connection with her murder. Because none has been charged, this episode does not name any of them, will not describe identifying details about them, and will not speculate about which, if any, was actually responsible. What can be said plainly is this: police have, at various points over the decades, described specific individuals to the public as having drawn investigative interest, only for those leads to go nowhere conclusive. The pattern has repeated enough times that investigators themselves have described the case less as a search for a single missing clue and more as an ongoing process of elimination against an unusually long list of possibilities. In the years since 2020, the Amy Mihalovic investigation has increasingly centered on advances in forensic DNA technology techniques capable of extracting usable genetic information from evidence far too small or degraded for the testing available at the time of her murder. In late 2024, forensic testing confirmed the presence of an unknown male's nuclear DNA on Amy's sweatpants. According to Bay Village Detective Sergeant Jay Ellish, the sample recovered was too small to generate a complete usable profile using currently available technology. But rather than exhaust the sample on inconclusive testing, investigators made the deliberate decision to preserve it frozen, waiting for forensic science to catch up to what the evidence might eventually be able to tell them. In September of 2025, a separate line of evidence advanced. Hairs recovered from the avocado green curtain found near Amy's body were sent to Astrea Forensics, a specialized laboratory in San Jose, California, capable of attempting DNA extraction from severely degraded biological samples. Investigators confirmed the hairs did not belong to Amy or to any member of her family, raising hope that they might belong to whoever had handled the curtain used to transport her body. That hope met a setback in January of 2026, the most recent confirmed development in the case at the time of this recording. Astrea Forensics informed investigators that the hair samples from the curtain were too small or too degraded to produce a usable DNA profile, at least using currently available extraction methods. Detective Sergeant Elish characterized the result as a setback, while noting that both investigators and forensic scientists continue to believe that a sufficiently sensitive test will eventually exist to work with the evidence they still hold. Bay Village Police have, over the years, collected DNA samples from roughly 250 individuals connected in some way to Amy or her family, building an extensive comparison database in anticipation of the day a usable profile from the unidentified male DNA can finally be generated. What distinguishes Amy Mihaljević's case from many decades-old unsolved murders is not a lack of attention, it is the opposite. The case has never stopped generating fresh leads. According to Bay Village Police, investigators still receive close to 300 tips every year, more than 3.5 decades after Amy's murder, a volume of ongoing public engagement rare for a case this old. The case has also remained a fixture of national true crime media. Investigation Discovery aired a 3-hour special titled Who Killed Amy Mihaljević in December of 2018, as the premiere episode of a series examining unsolved cases around Lake Erie. NBC's Dateline devoted a full episode to the case in September of 2021, titled What Happened to Amy, featuring exclusive access to police files and correspondent Josh Mankiewicz retracing Amy's final known steps through Bay Village. The FBI continues to offer a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of whoever is responsible for Amy's death. As of January of 2026, no one has ever been formally charged in the murder of Amy Mihaljević. The investigation remains active, jointly pursued by the Bay Village Police Department and the FBI's Cleveland Field Office. Detective Sergeant Jay Elish and his colleagues continue to pursue what they have described as an increasingly science-driven approach to the case, betting, in effect, that forensic technology will eventually catch up to the small, degraded samples of evidence they have carefully preserved for exactly this purpose. Amy's family has continued to advocate for the case over more than 3.5 decades. Mark Mihaljević, Amy's father, has spoken publicly at press conferences alongside Amy's older brother, expressing continued hope that each new piece of forensic evidence might finally be the one that provides an answer. If Amy Mihaljević were alive today, she would be 47 years old. Amy Mihaljević did something almost every child of her generation was taught it was safe to do. She answered a phone call, believed a plausible story about a gift for her mother, and walked to meet someone she thought she could trust. 36 years later, the person responsible has never been charged or conclusively identified, despite more than 20,000 interviews, a curtain that may still hold his DNA, and a community that has never stopped looking. Cases like this one are, in their own way, a measure of what modern forensic science has not yet been able to do, as much as what it has. Somewhere in a frozen sample or a degraded hair fiber, investigators believe the answer to this case may already be sitting, waiting only for the technology to catch up to it. If this episode helped you understand how deeply this case has been investigated without ever producing an arrest, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Unsolved and Unforgotten for our next case. Anyone with information related to Amy Mihaljević's murder, including any memory of the avocado green quilted curtain described in this episode, is asked to contact the Bay Village Police Department or the FBI's Cleveland Field Office. She is missing.